Some of you are probably wondering, what the heck are we doing? We're all together, we're not all separated out. What's going on? Now, early in that year, Lance and I had a discussion about how to train officers. And Lance has a unique perspective on this because he travels all over the world, visiting Toastmasters clubs all over the world. He started a number of them. And there were points that he kept saying got missed. He says, it doesn't make sense the way we're training officers. Because the officers are a team. And they need to be trained as a team, working together. So I said, fine, let's try it out. So we took it out for a drive, and I sat down, and I watched him do the first presentation, and I went, oh, he's right. This makes a lot of sense. Okay. Now, people say, well, why aren't you teaching this stuff in the manuals? Have you looked at these manuals? These new manuals are terrific. They have all the basic information in here. And I was asked, well, how come you're not teaching this? Because you're supposed to read this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Toastmasters where leaders are made.
Yeah! Go!
We're going to start with the president. So, first of all, this is, I want you all to pretend, you ever heard of suspension of disbelief? That's what you do when you go to a movie that's a total fantasy and you go, oh, I don't believe this, you put all that aside, you just sit back and enjoy. Well, suspend disbelief because you're all now members of the brand new Toastmasters Club, TLI.
Yeah.
All members. And I want to introduce your officers to you. First officer is the president, Linda Coda.
Good morning. I'm Linda Koda-Kumagai, and I am club president of TLI Toastmasters. You know what that means? It means I am too cool for school. So how many presidents do we have in this room right now? Stand up. You are the coolest. I run the show. I call the shots. I'm the big kahuna, the big chief. I tell all of you. I delegate. Now, though I delegate, oh, and a little note about delegation. For president, we do the least amount of work. That is a little known secret because we delegate. But people always report back to us. So here are the responsibilities of the presidency. Number one, we hold a monthly officers meeting to discuss the direction of the club, the plans and goals of the club. And that's where the officers report back to us. We monitor carefully the Vice President of Education to make sure that she is fully implementing the Distinguished Club program. Because we know that the Distinguished Club program shows the clubs that are catastrophically successful compared to the clubs who do not follow the DCP. So the Distinguished Club program is so important because that is our barometer to know if our individual members, the most important people in the club, are growing and developing, because that's what we want. We want the growth and development of our members. Also, as president, I'm responsible for overseeing the voting and induction of all new members. No budging with the ballots there. That's our responsibility. The most important job of the president, and all leaders for that matter, is developing and securing the leadership of the future. So I always have my eye on who are the club's future leaders. And we can drop little bits of information in their head. You would be an incredible sergeant of arms next term. Very important job of leadership. But the best part of my job is I get to honor and acknowledge the members who have reached their different educational designations. So every time we have a new CC, competent communicator, competent leader, advanced leader, or communicator, we bring them up to the front and we celebrate them. We have a toast, maybe a slice of cake, or we take them out for a drink after the meeting. That is one of the best parts of our job. As the club leader, as the president, It is our job to motivate and inspire the troops. We need to say, I am Spartacus, and I am the club president.
Yay.
Thank you, Linda. We are going to be doing a little bit more, so we're going to ask Linda to stay here. But right now we're going to introduce to you the VP of Education, Carolyn Cousins-Goldman.
As VPE, I do everything. She takes credit. I'm the one that does all the work. Every time a new member comes into the club, I make sure they get a mentor. A mentor who can mentor them through the first few speeches that can show them the ins and outs of the club. In addition, I make sure that every member is following their manuals and getting the most out of their manuals. I keep track of where they are in terms of their designation, where they are if they're in their CC manuals in terms of their speeches, and I encourage them to get on the program and to give their speeches and to do the functionary roles so that they get through their CL. So I'm a cheerleader for the members coming in and for the existing members, so that the club gets their designations in and becomes what? What is it? No, president. Very important, no matter what she said.
Woo! Thank you! The next job and the next officer I want to introduce to you is your Vice President of Membership, Ron Rosati.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me all right? Yeah. All righty. Membership is one of the most important jobs in the whole lineup. Members, all of them. So the idea is this. When the Sergeant of Arms is standing by the front door in the morning or the night, whenever the club may be, the new member walks in the front door and makes sure that he signs them up and gives them the card, and right away the membership man is right on top of the new member by saying, hello, welcome, make sure they have a seat, and make sure that you tell them that anything that they want or how they want, we're ready to go. The president or the Toastmaster is going to call their name, and they're going to sit and they're going to have a nice time. Then after the meeting, I meet him again, the new member, and how does he like it? And we talk and this and that. And do you want to sign up now? If they say yes, you give them an application and you start the ball rolling. If he wants to wait until next time, very good. Get his name, his email, and call him back during the middle of the week. Invite him to the next meeting. And when he shows up there, vote him in. That's how that's done. Now, one more quick piece of information. That membership man has to watch any and all members. If a member isn't coming for 2 times, you got to call him. Where are you? What happened? Everybody misses you and everybody's asking for you. Come on back. Stay with them. Stay with them. All the way down the line. Don't lose a member. They're all members.
Thank you. Tom, stay up here, please.
Yes.
We need you. We're not done with these officers.
He was getting new members.
We're going to do the easy part first. Okay, so then our next officer is one of the officers that I consider extremely vital to any club, and that is the Vice President of Public Relations. And our Vice President of Public Relations is Ricky Powell.
As VP of PR, I am a promoter!
Yay!
How many VP of PRs do we have here? Stand up, please. Stand up, and I want you in your biggest Toastmaster voices to say, I promote! There you go. Okay, have a seat. Thank you so much. So as VP of PR, it is vital that you get your club information out there, that you work together with the social media people, with your webmasters, to let everyone out there know about your club, when your meetings are. We also hold monthly events to garner members. We send out postcards to people, and we even hand them out personally. That's better than sending them. Actually hand them out to people. We help with membership drives, organize events, and again, it's very important to get it out there in social media. And speaking of social media, you know, the definition of a shameless plug is to work yourself into the material unannounced. Social media is so important that we're actually teaching 2 breakout sessions today in utilizing social media, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Please attend. You do not want to miss it, because I will show you how to get out there in social media and make sure the world knows about your club. Thank you.
More to go. Now, we do need record keeping. We do. And we have a wonderful person to help us explain that. And our secretary for this club is none other than Karen Hudson.
So, I am the foundation for all these big kahunas. I keep the records. I make minutes of the meetings, of the officer meetings. I keep track of the accomplishments, of the speeches that people give, and this is vitally important. Every month I read page 18, 19, 20, and 21 of the calendar in the officer book, because every month that tells me what I have to do. If I have to turn in officers, if I have to turn in new members, you know, the member renewals, whatever I need to do, I keep up with that, and I work very closely with the treasurer on all that legal stuff. Can you believe it? We have to report to the IRS. Is that disgusting? Anyway, I am the foundation.
Has to pay bills and collect money. And that means that this club needs a treasurer. And I have a very special treasurer. Her name is Naomi Connors. Naomi, come on
So I love money. Who doesn't love money? I don't see anyone. Anyway, Rich, I'm looking for someone. I do. And one of the things that I am is extremely organized, and I believe every treasury needs to have an organized record keeper. So I keep lists, which Joe gave me right before the meeting. Some of the things that I do. After this VP of membership has closed the new member, I get the application and the money. And I keep it for a little while because I like to look at it, and then I send it to Toastmasters International. I also report all of the new members' vital statistics, their name, address, their phone number, their email, to every single one of our officers, not just the president and the vice president of education. I believe this information is vital to every post on the club's roster. I collect dues twice a year, in October and in April. And I am really good at finding people, because I know where they live. You see, I have a really good record. And I've got friends in New York named Guido. And a few in LA, actually, too. I also pay the club bills. And what's left over, I pay other club bills with. You thought I was going to say I pay my own bills, right? I know where you're going. There's also a fundraising issue with Toastmasters International. There's protocol and policy that must be followed. And I make sure that the club stands well with that, and that they follow the rules that are in the club leadership manual. And of course, as was just mentioned, I report everything to the IRS and to the state because we have to. And that's what I do.
Yay! I have a very special officer that's next. And I've asked a very special lady to hold this post because I want you all to understand how extremely important this position is. Sergeant at Arms, Madam Roberta Perry.
Good morning.
Morning.
I want you to remember something. Do not pay attention to what any of us do. Why? Because Sergeant Arms is the most important job on this team because without us, there's not a meeting. So how many Sergeant Arms do I have in the room? Stand up. Let's applaud you Now I've held this post for the last year in my club just so that I could learn it better. And here's what I've discovered. Sergeant at Arms, we are the second impression that a guest has, the second. The first impression is off of the internet. Over 80% of our new club members, guests come in via the internet, that's their first impression. But we, as your Sergeant at Arms, are their second impression. So we always want to make sure we're there and ready to go and not running around the room getting set up. We want to make sure that we are set up 15 minutes before anybody else arrives so that we can breathe and relax. And as the guests come in, we can greet them so that PR, as they've driven them to the door, we know what to do with them. And once we've got a guest, we have them sign the guest book with their name and their email address, if possible. Then we introduce them to the Vice President of Membership. And if we weren't here, Ron, you'd never get it.
That's for sure.
So we introduce them to the Vice President of Membership. He then makes sure that they are introduced to another member in the club. So in fact, if you were our guest, I would introduce you to him, and then he would bring you over and introduce you to her. So what is your name? Elizabeth. So Elizabeth then can sit next to you and answer any questions to the meeting. Because remember, we have so much jargon in our clubs, most of our guests just go to sleep. Because what's a CL? What's a CC? What's a DTM? Oh, see, I'm in a smart room today.
That's my job.
Anyway, we Sergeant at Arms have a great time. So once we've got the guests all seated, then our work starts even more because 2 minutes before the meeting starts, we should be up front saying we got 2 minutes before the meeting, everybody get in your seats. Then when the meeting starts, or we're going to call it to order, right, Mitch?
Yeah.
Sergeant at Arms calls it to order, calls the meeting to order, and introduces the club president. Then throughout the entire meeting, we are the timekeeper to make sure the president starts on time, to make sure the president ends on time. We are so important, it is just awkward. We think we're important. Anyway. So we do all of that through the entire meeting. At the end of the meeting, instead of quickly breaking the room down and getting ready, we slow down a little bit. We make sure that Vice President of Membership has done his job or her job and make sure that the membership applications are in the hands of our guests. And when the membership applications are there, if he hasn't done it, we do it. We do whatever is necessary. And then at the very end, we walk around the room and we make sure that that room looks better than the way we found it at the beginning of the meeting. Why? Because we want to make sure whoever has allowed us to have that room, if they walked in behind, they'd see that we take care of the property and they'll want us back. So we always make sure that the room is better, we leave it better than what we found it. And with that, hey, we're not important at all. We are the foundation.
Now you see what the problem is. They all think they're the big kahunas.
Yes.
So now what do we do to make this work? Now if we had separated all of these out, they'd go home and you'd all go home and go, well, I'm the most important person in the room. Okay? But that doesn't build a team. That builds enthusiasm. That builds the chutzpah, the insistence that we're going to make it work. Chutzpah. Very good. And tenacity, the stubbornness to make their job work. But they have to work as a team. So how does that work? Well, here's how leadership works. We're going to have a guest. Who? Fredo, would you be our guest? Did he say no? Fredo, get up here. You're our guest. This is Fredo Moreno. Please welcome Fredo Moreno. And said, you need to come to TLI Toastmasters here at the Glendale College. So you wander in. Come on, wander with me.
I'm wondering. It's right here with me.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. Now, what are you going to do with them, Roberta?
Is this Toastmaster?
My name is Roberta Perry, and you are Fredo. Good morning, Fredo. Come on in. I want you to meet a very, very special gentleman, our Vice President of Membership.
Hi.
I'm so afraid of it. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Okay.
Thank you
Great.
very
So
much.
what are you going to do with them? Where are you going to put them?
Mr. Fredo, I'm going to put you right here. You're going to sit down, make yourself at home. You are at home. You like any water? You like anything to eat or drink? Make yourself at home.
Do you
Got plenty
Do
for
you
you.
have tomatoes?
We can get you one. I'll go see him in
Okay.
That's
All
right.
right, Fredo, have a seat for a second.
Have a seat.
Okay,
Right with you.
we have had our meeting, 3 great speeches, evaluations, table topics. Fredo has managed to be kept in his seat the entire time. The meeting is over. Now what happens?
Everybody goes home.
Okay, now if Fredo gets up and starts to walk, what's going to happen here?
We're gonna
Who's going after him? Excuse me. You're all members of this club. Okay? Yes, Roberta needs to grab him, and so does Ron. But suppose they're talking to somebody else grabs him. Who's going to come and talk to Fredo? Good. Remember, your members, it's your club. Nobody wants to stand up here and talk to an empty room. Nobody. So you see Fredo walking away. Go walk away.
Today's meeting at TLI.
You know, I don't think I do it.
Well, you know what? You're welcome to come back anytime that you want as a guest. Let me give you some more information by referring you to Ron Medalli, our Vice President of Membership.
Hello, Fredo.
This is too much for me.
No, it's not. It's just fun, and we're all here to support you. Everybody in the room is going to help you to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. It's 1, 2, 3. You just got to take a little step to start, and you'll be in business. So what I'd like to ask you to do is give us a try. Okay? One way we can do it is you can sign up right now.
have to come?
Yes! Who are you going to introduce him to next? Don't go away.
I'm going to introduce him to the president.
Okay. Madam
Linda?
President?
Look, here he is, right here. The gentleman has signed up. He's given us his checks. He wants to join. He has a little bit of fear here and there, but we're going to get rid of that. He's going to be fearless by that. Say hello. Say hello.
So great to meet you. Congratulations on taking this incredible leadership.
He'll help you.
So we have.
The money, I got the check.
And Karen doesn't have the information.
Not real money. Fredo, we're going to have the Sergeant of Arms escort you out of the room. So we can book you
Or
in.
you don't want me anymore?
For now.
Okay, we have the application here for Fredo. Do I hear a motion?
I move we accept Alfredo as a group.
Do I hear a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Will someone please tell the Sergeant of Arms to come back in?
Hello, You want to give him the speech?
Congratulations.
Right, Fredo, the gentleman voted in. These are all our officers. We're ready to go. We're going to support you. By the time you get done with this, you're going to be a first-class speaker. And you'll start off with your icebreaker. Just tell us a little bit about you, where you were born, and how you like to do it. Here's the compliment.
That's it. Give it to the VPE and finish that.
Oh, all right.
So nice to meet you, Alfredo. Welcome to our club. What you're going to receive are two manuals similar to this. You're going to receive a Confident Communicator manual and a Confident Leader manual. I will help you get acclimated to use of the manuals. But basically, your Confident Communicator manual is going to be the manual you're going to use to do your speeches. There are 10 projects, and you will do a speech as you go along. It's a self-motivated program, so you go at your own pace, and you'll create the speeches for each project. Then you have also the Confident Leader manual, and you will see that that is a manual that you will use to learn leadership as well as getting credit for every time you're a functionary at a meeting. And you saw that, right, when you saw the meeting today. I will keep record of how you're doing in terms of how your speeches are progressing in your Confident Communicator. And I'll make sure that when you're through at the 10, you will get your Confident Communicator designation. I'll also assign you a mentor. Would you like to have a mentor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anybody in the club that you saw that you thought would really be a good mentor?
I don't care about
Okay, we'll assign you. And that person will help you with your speeches as well as getting used to the club and the functions of the club. So you are in great hands. Great.
As VP of PR, but I just want to say how much good it does my soul to see you holding the postcard that I put in your hands. And I just wanted to find out, how did you find out about Toastmasters?
Oh, the internet. Friend told me about it.
Awesome. Well, one thing that you might also find is that it's always good to take this journey with someone else. Do you have any close friends that you'd like to Okay, well, you bring as many of your friends as you can to our meeting, and that way you can go on the journey with them. Welcome.
We've got the journey with the new member. Now we have to do the journey with the paperwork. So the VP of membership just gave the paperwork to the secretary. Okay, now what are you going to do with it?
Okay, one of the most important things is I check with the new member about, especially about the email, because I don't know why people scribble emails worse than anything in the world. But I check to make sure that I can read everything so I get it entered correctly. And I look it all over, ask them if there are any questions that they have. Tell them that I will put the thing in, I will enter your membership in a certain number of days, and then within a week to 10 days you will get your membership manual kit, your new member kit. And what I usually do, what I usually do is give them a manual that they can start on right now. Our club keeps a bunch of manuals. And then when you get your new kit, you can return that new manual, because you can write in all of that. You can start reading it, writing it, preparing your speeches and everything, even before your kit comes to you. So I'd like for you to talk with the treasurer for a minute. Our treasurer.
Hi, Fredo.
Hi.
I've taken your check and the application from the secretary, and I'm going to go onto the internet to the Toastmasters International website using my very special username and password. I'm going to go to Club Central, and I'm going to register you. So I'll make sure that all the information on this is correct. She's already checked it, and I'll look it over again. And then once that's done, Toastmasters International will put you on the official club roster, and you'll get the information that you were told you'll be sent that by Toastmasters International, and you are therefore absolutely, positively official.
Hi.
Now you can be in the Toastmasters Club anywhere in the world.
Okay, so now that is what's happened with the new member. And we're beginning to build the team. Why is this important? I've been in Toastmasters for over 20 years. Until Karen did her presentation at QuickBooks, I didn't know what a secretary did. I've been president twice, VPPR twice, didn't know what the secretary did. And that's rather important that I know that, and it's very important that all of you know that, because now I can help the secretary of my clubs. I can help the VPN. I can help the Sergeant at Arms, because I know what everybody does. We start to work as a team, and once we start working as a team, then we turn around and look at the members of the club and say, okay, how can we meet the needs of each individual member? So at this point, we're going to deal with that. But first, please thank all of our dear and glorious officers.